I really don't know how to tell this story to you guys. Just kidding. I'm doing a story time today, and it's about the time I got freaking ghosted in real life. You know how you get ghosted, like, oh, somebody doesn't return your text? I got ghosted like they left my apartment and never came back up, said they were going back down to come back up and never did. Let me get into the details. So I met this guy on Reddit. I know, Reddit, whatever. And then we connected through, I think, Snapchat or maybe Instagram. And after that, we're like, okay, we saw we had some things in common, and we were like, okay, well, let's hang out. And I was like, okay, you know what, why not? Because this was back in my like spontaneous phase where I was like, you know,
like, I'm down to meet up, like, what you want to do, whatever you want to do, I want to do, you know.
I mean, not really like that, but like, you know. So he ends up coming to my apartment at the time. This was like last year, so I'm completely over the situation, but the story is funny. So he comes over, we're in the living room watching TV. I think it was Halloween time at that moment of time. I think it was like October or whatever. So we start to watch, you know, Halloween movies. We watched Halloween Town, and I think we watched the first and second Halloween Town movie, and then I think he kissed me. And then after that, we still watched the third Halloween Town movie, I think, because we were hanging out for a long time. And then I don't know what happened, but we're watching the movies, and I think everything's fine, because I'm like, it's chill, like, you know, like, we're just like, you know. And he's like, oh, are you hungry? And I was starving. Keep in mind, I didn't eat all day, because whenever I hung out with a guy back then, I didn't want to eat because I didn't want to poop in front of them. I didn't want to do none of that. My bowel movement goes crazy. It goes stupid. So I didn't want to do that. So I didn't eat anything. So when he said that, I was like, oh my gosh, thank you, Jesus, because I was starving. So I think he says he was going to order a fat burger, right? So I'm like, okay, well, get me a fry and a milkshake. Because, you know, I'm still trying to keep it cute. I'm like, I don't want to get no big meal, whatever. And ladies, if you're watching this, eat that big meal in front of him. He does not care. Or even if he does care, then he's not the one. Like, don't, suppress your appetite for a man. Don't ever do that. But anyway, I'm like, okay. And he's like, okay, the food's on its way. Like, I put in the order, he puts in his order, whatever. And then he's like, it's on its way. I was like, okay, smooth. We're still watching the movie or whatever. Then I think 30 minutes passed by, and he's like, oh, the food's here. And then I'm like, yes. Like, I was so hungry, I was starving, right? I'm like, okay. And at this point, like, we're in my apartment still, so when food delivery comes, I can buzz them in or like go down and pick it up. And at this point, he was like, oh, do you want to go get it, or do you want me to go get it? And I was like, you know what, like, he's the man, like, let me clean up a little bit, like, whatever. And I was like, okay, you could go get it. So keep in mind, I am still thinking that he went to go get the food. So I'm sitting down, and because he left the apartment at this point, I'm sitting down in the bed. I'm like, oh, it's been like 5 minutes. I'm like, let me call him. I call him, no answer. I start to panic a little bit. So I'm like, okay, let me go downstairs. I take my happy butt down the elevator downstairs. He
is nowhere to be found. Nowhere.
I'm looking around like literally looking like, I'm like, where is this man? I start calling him a bunch of times. He's not answering the phone. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, what happened? I ended up messaging him on Snapchat. He never answered. I snap called him. I know this sounds crazy, but I was freaking out because I'm like, one, you lied and said you ordered food that was on its way. Two, you're just gonna leave and not say anything. You're just gonna ghost me in real life. And three, like, you're gonna have me out here looking stupid. And so I go back upstairs, and I'm gonna be honest, I cried because I'm the type of person that's very sensitive. So I was like, what did I do that was so bad to make this man leave like that? Like, he literally just like been left, didn't even, like, at least he could have been honest and be like, you know what, like, I'm not really feeling you and I just want to go home. But didn't even say that, didn't even say anything. But get this, a month passes by. I'm not even thinking about this dude. Like, he's so far back in my mind because I cried about it that night, but then after that I was over it. I was like, you know what, it wasn't meant to be, like, screw him. A month later, you know that saying, they always come back?
They always come back.
He texts me, he's like, oh, I'm so sorry about everything that happened. blah blah blah, I miss you, blah, blah, blah. First of all, you miss me, we hung out one time, red flag. 2, you're sorry, like what? Like what do you mean you're sorry? Like you did what you did, you're not sorry about it. The actions show how you feel about me. And then I'm going back and forth with him over text, right? And he's like, I'm sorry, like we'll make it up to you, whatever. And guess what my dumb self does? I hang out with him again. And I hang out with him again, and guess what he does again? He ghosts me. Not in real life, but in person. At this point, I'm like, well, you know what? I'm the fool. Like, he's ghosting me in person. He's ghosting me over the phone. Like, I'm just the stupid one at this point. And at this point, I knew I was stupid. So I just stopped replying to him. And then eventually, guess what? They always come back. I think I posted on like TikTok, like a graduation TikTok. And he texted me again and was like, oh, like I saw your TikTok, like you're so beautiful. At this point, I'm noticing a pattern. He's always just texting me when he feels like it, but he ghosts me. And at this point, I have more self-respect for myself. Well, obviously self-respect for yourself, dumb. But anyway, at this point, I had more self-respect. So I wasn't gonna like be like, oh yeah, let's hang out, come over. No, I was giving him the cold shoulder, right? And so I think that kind of made him want me more because he would text me more. And I'm like, this is so weird. Like, what are you talking about? And like, we've had conversations where he was like, I don't want anything serious. And I'm the type of person, I'm not a hookup girl. So I was like, you know what? Like, I'm maybe interested in something more serious. So I need to take the step back and not be involved with you. Like, you keep ghosting me. Like, what do you want me to do? You right? And so, fast forward time, I meet my boyfriend, my current boyfriend, in July, right? And this dude still texts me. Like, to this day, it is December 12th. This ghost man still texts me. And I'm just like, what? And I've told him, I was like, I have a boyfriend. Because I obviously show my boyfriend like all the text messages. And like, my boyfriend is literally seeing me type out, I have a boyfriend. And you know what he had the nerve to say? I think if I can find a screenshot, I'm gonna put it up here. He literally said like, oh, I don't care. Because he was like, oh, come eat with me, whatever. And I was like, I have a boyfriend now. And then he was like, oh, I don't care. He can come, but he got to pay for himself. Like, you gotta be really bold to send something like that. And my thing is like, sometimes, because he'll text me like at least once a month, and me and my boyfriend will just like, my boyfriend will be like on the phone, text back as me or whatever, just for like shit, like giggles and stuff. But like, I just don't understand this guy. Like, I don't think he is emotionally mature enough to be pursuing women, because I don't think you should be constantly wanting to hang out with someone and then constantly ghosting them like that. Like, it's honestly despicable and it's evil. Like, I couldn't imagine doing it to somebody where I would constantly hit them up, not hit them up for a month, and hit them up again. Like, it's like an emotional I don't want to call it emotionally abusive. I don't think it's that far, but it's definitely like you're like, you know, someone's not emotionally attached to you anymore, then you're trying to get them to be reattached to you. Like, it's just not fair and it's evil, you know? Anyway, that concludes this story time. I have so many other story times I can go on and on about. So let me know if you guys want more story times, because I've lived a life, I'll tell you that. So yeah, comment down below and I'll be down to like have a sit down video and just do story times, or do like a get ready with me story time or whatever. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.